Right now, M50 turbo, 1,000 horsepower, BMW M2. What can he do? He said he's coming for it this year. He said round one last year in Spain was great success, but then the season fell away from him. He said that's not going to happen this year. He's here to fight for it and he wants it, and that's a big dive across the circuit for Kevin Pesur as he puts some rear wheels into the outside zone, picks up the throttle. Not sure on that inner. We need to take a look back at the replay of that as he now works his way down the hill, picks up that front, the car jumping around on track as he makes it across the line. This is absolute gold. Doesn't even want to look at the camera as Kevin Pesur sits on the line, an 85.5 as he fires through the gears. That car hitting the rev limiter as he shifts gears now, fires through, very shallow angle, but he makes it work. That car gripped up to the nines. He dials on big angle. Can he pull it off? He certainly can as Kevin Pesur now works his way through, looks for that inner zone, looks for the outer zone, fires that car to angle, slows the car down on big angle as he picks up the zones and across the line.
Yeah, solid line run there.
More power. He said, all I'm doing is putting fuel and tyres on the car and keep going out, and it's just working for me. Through the gears they come, and look at this, Keski-Korpi onto the back bumper, nice initiation. As Mika Keski-Korpi looks for the side of Kevin Pesur's BMW, they fire through into outside zone 4. Now Keski-Korpi starts to apply the pressure. He's very deep though, he's lost a little ground. He has to regain it as they fire through. An early transition from Mika Keski-Korpi as he goes to put rear wheel to rear wheel, and Keski-Korpi gets lost in the smoke.
Yeah, just a little bit back throughout the entire run, about a half a car
doing
back.
a whole lot wrong out front as he starts to creep off that start line already. They get the green light ready to go as Keski-Korpi fires through the gears. The man from Finland's opportunity to lay down. Nice initiation. Look at this, he's up and gone already. As Kevin Pesur dives through the smoke and looks for it. Nice line from Keski-Korpi this time in that lead position. Look at this, some ground opened up as Keski-Korpi now starts to throw down a heater, and Kevin Pesur starts to panic and needs to find a dive, needs to take a bite outside the car, and he does right across the line.
Yeah, Mika Keski-Korpi's lead run looked really good, but Kevin Pesur,
here he goes, Pesur to chase down Korpolinski. He knows what Korpolinski's capable of. This is a final battle of our top 16 as they come through the gears. Korpolinski clutch kicks that car to action. Kevin Pesur matches the angle, now starts to hunt him down as the Polishman puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Kevin Pesur makes a mistake though, kicks the clutch, shortcuts outside zone 4 to try and find some proximity with Korpolinski as they flick. Almost mirror image, big angle from Korpolinski, almost messes up Pesur, but he deals with it across the line.
How did Pesur pull that off? What looked like a mistake ended up
that beam as Korpolinski already starts to creep forward. They are good to go. Through the gears goes Korpolinski. Oh, and he's massively behind. I'm not sure what happened there. But Korpolinski got left standing as Kevin Pesur fires that car into outside zone 4. Now Korpolinski has to play catch up as Kevin Pesur is on an absolute flyer out front. There is no messing around for the Estonian driver as he puts the car right where it needs to be. Kevin Pesur close to missing that inside zone. He looks in the mirror and there's no Korpolinski on the back bumper on the anti-lag button, ready to trigger it, ready to fire it off. And here we go, they get the green light to go. Korpolinski to lead out Pesur through the gears. Down they come, flick to initiation. Kevin Pesur back on that inside line again. Can he make it work this time? He can as he fires through an early transition. He's on the handbrake for a long time now, down on the inside, trying to work his way into the groove. As Korpolinski goes super wide, dials on big angle, and they both deal with it as they fire through into that inside zone. Big clutch kick from Pesur, he's on the door across the line. Korpolinski already jumping that start, ready to rock and roll. He knows that Kevin Pesur's fast. He knows he pulled a massive gap on him. He won't let it happen this time. Much better from Korpolinski. And now he catches understeer. He goes a wheel off track, and he's left in a cloud of smoke once again as Kevin Pesur puts foot to floor, fires through outside zone 4. Pavel Korpolinski tries to get himself back in the question, back in the fight as Kevin Pesur fires for a big angle. Look at this, dialed in as Korpolinski looks for the back bumper. As soon as he sees that light illuminate, slots the car into gear, and he's going to give chase to a man that has some serious credentials in European drifting right now as Juha Rittinen leads him out. Big clutch kick for Rittinen, and look at that from Pesur. He waited too long. Whoa. Both guys drop a wheel over the edge of the circuit as Kevin Pesur holds on. Oh, no. Rittenen's into the wall. He takes a tyre off the rim. He can't hold on to it. His wheel's off track, and Pesur makes his way past an illegal overtake and makes his way down and across the line. What are we witnessing in Spain at Drift Masters?
Both drivers just pushing as hard as they possibly could, and I felt it.
As the light goes green, it is go. This is for a spot in the final. Who is going to take it through? And these guys absolutely hammered down. Look at this, Kevin Pesur observing Itay Sede. Says, okay, so you're fast on initiation. He throws a wheel off circuit though, does Kevin Pesur. And Itay Sede then puts that car right to the edge of the track, right on the white line. Pesur now starting to gain some ground, finds the side of that BMW 2 Series. They fire through, big transition, big angle from both guys, but Pesur gets it wrong, collects the cone across the line.
Yeah, intensity
They're off the line, ready to rock and roll. Through the gears they go. As Ite Seler falls behind massively now as Kevin Pesur puts foot to floor, starts to fire down through the circuit, gets that car set up lovely for outside zone 4. Ite now finds his way in to the door, into the pocket as Kevin Pesur fires that car across the circuit down, big angle once again, stands on the throttle, misses that inner clip, up the hill he goes, and Ite just about gets himself in the conversation. The visor will slam shut on that carbon fibre helmet as Jack Shanahan slams the door of his GT86, the light goes green and we are good to go for the playoffs here. Who will take third step on the podium as they slam through the gears? Shanahan flicks that car across the circuit, and look at this from Pesur, much better as he puts himself into formation. Shanahan on the handbrake into outside zone 4, nice and wide, but look at that from Pesur, he's tucked up on the inside, onto the door he goes as they fire through. Now Pesur down again on the inside, an incredible chase from Kevin Pesur as they go wheel to wheel.
every single lap is practice.
The light goes green and they are good to go as Pesur now leads out Shanahan for possibly the last run. Look at this, some separation already as Kevin Pesur puts foot to floor. Now Shanahan starts to regain some of that lost ground on the handbrake early. For Shanahan as he dives in on the door, Pesur on an absolute winder of a lead line at the moment. Shanahan trying to find the door, that BMW as they transition down. Shanahan throws all the angle at it, but he stalls him up as Pesur brings him across the line.
Wow.
This weekend, back on the podium. I'm not messing around, I'm here for business. The Estonian driver comes off the line, BMW 2 Series, flicks that car across on the handbrake, sets himself up lovely, gets into this outside zone. What can Kevin Pesur do? We know he comes alive in the battle, but can he come alive in qualifying? Nice line so far from Kevin Pesur. He wobbles a little bit there, pushes the car right to the edge of the circuit, smashes the back end off as Pesur now starts to rein himself back in once again. Back on that qualifying line, he goes up into the wall across the line.
Wow. Showing why he deserved that
Look at this,
podium.
he's focused,
Really?
visor slam shut, car goes into gear. Pesur, well, he'll want to get himself way up there. He's in 20th at the moment with a 92, and what can he do? And Pesur, absolute technical, look at that. Beautiful on that first outside zone, beautiful on that second outside zone as he now works his way around, looks for the inner, fires it through the middle of the circuit. Can he go deep? He doesn't go as deep as anyone else on outside zone 4. Down the hill he comes with big angle though, as he now works his way in, second to last outside zone collected. Final one on the wall, job done.
Yeah, it's splitting hairs
off
doesn't
the
even
line
feel like
come Kevin Pesur and Marco Zekaril. Pesur opting to lead first as well as the higher qualifier as he flicks that car in, waits such a long time to get on throttle, but calculated from Kevin Pesur as he puts the back bumper onto the wall, a little wobble, but he holds onto it. As Kevin Pesur now works his way around, looks for that inner zone and finds it beautifully. Marco Zekaril can't be shook though, 2 Series versus 2 Series right now as they go wheel to wheel down and outside zone 4. Zekaril going to go for a dive down onto that front wheel, and he does as they fire through, drop a wheel into the puddle, then back up again they come. Look at this from Zekaril making a big dive up to the wall. Oh, and a bit sketchy from Pesur across the line.
Yeah, both these drivers, I mean, it's
And around all of the walls and even off the track this morning in practice. As they come through the gears, Zekaril flicks that car across the track. Look at this from Kevin Pesur though, onto the back bumper already as they fire through a nice line already from Zekaril, but they're door to door into that first outside zone. Zekaril takes a big chunk out of the wall. Kevin Pesur has to back off, and look at this from Zekaril into the wall quite a bit. Oh, contact as they transition through the middle of the circuit. Zekaril tries to find the limit of the circuit and the pace, and he's got some pace as he comes down the hill, and it's caught Kevin Pesur out here as he fires up the hill. Pesur's going to have to do something, he's going to have to make a big dive and take fire across the line.
Wow, Marco Zekaril,
The
I mean,
Estonian driver
really
pulls up to the
finding
line. He
rhythm
says,
in
look,
the track.
just a 90 will do me, just to get me in the top half of the show. It's not been such good luck since round 1 in Spain from the Estonian driver as he flicks this BMW 2 Series into action. Picks up the throttle nice and early now as Kevin Pesur manages his way, balances the car around the circuit here in County Kildare, puts the car where it needs to be. Nice line, but big handbrake drag into the outside zone as Kevin Pesur now puts his bumper towards the wall, wheel along the line and across the line, a job done.
Yeah, just pushing all the way through, and another driver that's been able to get this
into gear and
very
he's ready
smooth
to do some damage on the circuit. And 88.5, and Pesur will want to move himself way up the order. You would have seen what's attainable out there on track as he flicks that BMW to angle. And look at this, a nicer line from Kevin Pesur. Keeps it clean this time, right to the edge of the circuit as Kevin Pesur works his way around outside zone 4, but flat to the floor as he locks up the front brake, just trying to push the back end that BMW right into the zone as he now flicks it towards the wall. A little shallow, a little tentative on the handbrake there for Kevin Pesur as he flicks it towards that last outside zone and across the line. He's the man to beat here at Mondello Park. He knows he'll have all of the Irish fans screaming his name as they come through the gears, down over the hill, and a big flick. And look at that from Kevin Pesur right on the back bumper. This is the closest battle we've seen so far, door to door, as they come through the outside zone. Pesur goes for the transition, and this is clean from both drivers as Pesur goes for the front wheel of that Mustang. Kevin Pesur goes for an early transition, trying to hunt down the Irishman as he fires that BMW onto the side of that Mustang. They come through that last outside zone, door to door. Wow. Pesur slams the visor shut on the helmet, and Dean jumps off that start line ready for action. He would have known by the spotters that Pesur was always there. He was always in the wing mirror. And look at this big angle from Dean. Is it a mistake? He deals with it. Shallows up the angle. Kevin Pesur looking rock solid as James Dean now fires down on the inside of that BMW. They go door to door in the outside zone. Kevin Pesur unshaken though as he puts foot to floor, looks for the transition. Dean back into the battle. They go wide on the outside zone towards the wall. Dean glued to the door of Kevin Pesur. Is unbelievable. Well, Kuba Bryczkowski comes off the line in that GR86 through the gears as Kevin Pesur, the Estonian, hunts him down. He flicks that car from left to right as they fire over the hill and down into initiation. And it's a beautiful lead line, but it's a little wide for Bryczkowski as he puts the rear wheels now into the outside zone. There's no shaking Pesur though. The Estonian can't be shaken as they fire through the middle of the circuit. Pesur goes for the dive once again, down on the door. He knows how good Bryczkowski is. He knows he can trust that lead line, and he trusts him the whole way.
Kevin Pesur, every time you put him
off the line already, we get the green light as Kevin Pesur's bumper pops up. Tyres are light already as they fire through the gears. And look at this from Kevin Pesur. He's absolutely up and gone. This man has turned that car up to 250. Bryczkowski goes wide. He goes wide again. He's trying to keep up with the Estonian driver. Bryczkowski on the inside of the circuit. Kevin Pesur's car is like a rocket ship right now as he fires around Mondello Park. Puts that car into the outside zone. Bryczkowski gets a shortcut, tries to tag the door and gets lost once again. A bit of a better place. He knows that Dean's out. He knows that Randlew's out. He knows that Heinen's out of competition. Now is a chance for Torane Kavir to jump up the order a little bit and maybe sit second behind Shanahan as we go into Riga in just a few weeks' time. Here we go though, through the gears, off they go. It's going to be Kevin Pesur to lead out Torane Kavir. Kavir matches the angle, and look at the proximity for Kavir. He leans on. Oh, and it's a mistake. Leans on the back of Kevin Pesur, and it puts him into a mistake as they fire into the outside zone. Kavir now trying to hunt down Kevin Pesur as they fire into the second to last outside zone. Kavir goes for it, but it's all over the show as he almost hits the wall and loses some ground. Kevin Pesur, can Kevin Pesur hang with Kavir? That's the big question. Kavir's been throwing down these huge initiations as he fires through the gear, flicks that car across the circuit, and wow, look at the angle, look at the pace. He's gone super wide, his wheels off track, he blows the cones into the middle of the circuit. Kevin Pesur dives in, hangs with him, as now Kevin Pesur tries to get himself back into the fight as Torane Kavir fires through the circuit. He's angry. The Norwegian sledgehammer wants to get the win, but he's throwing everything at it. More and move himself further ahead than anyone else. He creeps off the line. It's Shanahan to lead out. Kevin Pesur for a spot in the final awaits as Shanahan flicks that GT86 from left to right. Oh! Pesur goes on the inside, puts a wheel up on the curb. Shanahan unfazed as Pesur now pushes the back end of that GT86, goes for a dive, tags the door once again because Pesur is coming angry at this one, dives through the smoke as Shanahan puts a back bumper towards the wall. Kevin Pesur can't be shaken as he puts the wheel to the door one more time.
Yeah, Kevin Pesur, I mean, got loaded with some lemons there, made some lemonade, able to
despite the final awaits against Piotr Wojciech as they pop off the start line through the gears. The green light pops into vision as they now hammer through the gears, and Kevin Pesur fires that car in. Big angle, big pace, big speed as Shanahan tries to regain some lost ground. He shortcuts that outside zone as Kevin Pesur gets into outside zone 4, opens up the throttle, tries to drive away from the Irishman, but Shanahan is right with him as they transition bumper to bumper into this second to last outside zone. Shanahan onto the rear wheel, onto the door, across the line.
Yeah, exactly what we saw in the previous run. I mean, keep that consistency throughout the rest of this season, and he's got such a big shot. Look, it holds to the rules no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets to show how much these guys don't play games. He pulled through the start line, he got the strobe light and said, well, maybe I won't. And Kevin Pesur, ladies and gentlemen, going to do a buy run there, just going to put on a show for all the amazing fans here at Mondello Park in Ireland. Grandstands sold out. 10 deep around the fence. These guys have been an incredible atmosphere all weekend. Always happy to see drifting in Mondello Park, and hence why we come back here year after year, because the fans are amazing and they put on such a good show alongside the drivers.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
In the points to be in the top 3 of the championship. He's fallen out. He wants to regain some of those points, and he said that to be crowned the King of Riga here in Latvia, the closest event to the hometown would be the ultimate dream. But a scrappy first outside zone, but now starts to make it work as he goes very wide. Both wheels up on the curb as he works his way through now, picks up the outside zone, transitions back down to the handbrake as he gets in this last outside zone. Wobbling and wavering, knocks up the foot brake as he puts the back bumper door across the line.
He was working that car hard all the way through.
Sitting there in 82 in 34 position. He needs to get this job done and get himself into the show. He will take Timo Akuma out of qualifying if he does move himself up the order, as Kevin Pesur from Estonia fires in this BMW 2 Series full throttle right to the edge of the track. Nice line as he flicks down. A little bit more cool, calm and collected this time from the Estonian. On the foot brake though, slows that car down quite a lot as he now looks for this outside zone. On the angle, nice transition back into that final outside zone. Onto the wall he goes as Kevin Pesur manages to balance that BMW right around the edge of the circuit and across the line.
I think someone told him that you're in the drop zone right now.
Yeah.
You need to throw something down to really make sure you're going to make it into the show, and an 82 on the previous run is not going to be enough, and I think he's a little excited about that run.
He'll want to get this one done and dusted and continue to fight for a championship as they come off the start line and through the gears. Pesur goes wheel to wheel and side to side to him. They both throw it across the circuit into initiation, and Pesur now goes for that rear bumper, but Naoki Nakamura falls out of the outside zone. It completely messes up Kevin Pesur. Pesur now miles behind, starts to get himself back into it as Nakamura finds that outside zone, looks for the final transition into this long outside zone. He's handbraking, trying to get himself on that perfect qualifying line, on the throttle and across the line.
Yes, it's one of those situations where getting that grip, getting that speed, looks like that's what they're doing.
It looks like that's what we're going to do, but they're off the line. It's going to be the Estonian driver, Kevin Pesur, to lead out Naoki Nakamura from Japan as they fire through the gears. Nice initiation from the Estonian, but now he starts to waver in that first outside zone. And look at this from Nakamura, tucked up on the inside, up the curve. Goes Kevin Pesur as he goes nice and wide for that outside zone, but misses it. Doesn't manage to get there. That car turned up with all the grip. Nakamura all over the inside of the circuit. Goes for a transition back, and Kevin Pesur now can't find that outside zone as he fires it to the wall. Nakamura onto the door.
Wonder if maybe that contact did create a bit of an issue for Kevin Pesur, because that's not...
Yeah, certainly another driver that's ready for business. Well, here we go. They get the green light to go. They're through the gears, down on to initiation as Vincek fires that in, as Vicek fires it right where it needs to be. And look at this, so from Kevin Pesur all over the door, goes for an early transition, almost makes a massive mistake, tries not to lose too much ground as Vicek fires it back across the circuit again into that outside zone. He's got such a beautiful lead line all weekend. Into the wall he goes, and look at this from Kevin Pesur, finding the door, finding the side of that A90 Super as they bring it across the line.
Both these drivers have stepped up once again. I mean, for Piotr, not the perfection that we saw previously.
The green one will flicker, and it'll be Kevin Pesur to lead out Piotr Vicek as they come off the line through the gears. Down they come to initiation as Pesur fires it in the Estonian right to the edge of the circuit. But look at this, Vicek right on the door, no messing around as the Polishman bunts again back on the front rail. Absolutely phenomenal. They both go wide. Vicek goes deep, but he holds on to it, and it allows Kevin Pesur to start to drive away as Pesur now looks for that final outside zone. He's into it. Vicek into the wall. He can't seem to get the pace as he looks for the Estonian across the line.
Wow, what is going on?
The fastest man around this track so far this weekend. What can he do right now in qualifying where it all counts? He was on the podium at round 2. What can he do here as he flamer ups from the back end of that BMW? And he looks like a little shallow there on that second outside zone, but we'll see from another camera angle on the replay as he now gets himself into outside zone 4. Very calculated so far from the Estonian driver as Pesur puts it back into the wall, flicks down for 5, and again comes up a little shallow, maybe a little bit reserved here for Kevin Pesur as he goes for that final zone and across the line.
Yeah, a little reserved. I mean, that's
not
a weird thing to say.
Not what we're used to seeing. Currently sitting 5th in the championship. He'll want to do some damage this weekend. What can he do as the Estonian fires in BMW E46 with a 2 Series body kit and 50 turbo underneath the bonnet, fires through, stands on the throttle, 1,000 horsepower being unleashed from the back end of this BMW as he gets into outside zone 4, kissing the wall the whole way round as Kevin Pesur looks for 5, and he looks absolutely dialed, looks so cool, calm and collected inside the car, goes nice and wide, puts it right to the edge of the circuit, touches the wall almost across the line. Kevlar S15 looks focused for the green light, and he comes through the gears as Falvey leads them out for a spot in the top 16 and waits for one of them. They fire down, and Falvey says, this year I need a podium. podium, but Pesur's already been on it. And look at the lead line from Falvey already. It opens the door as Kevin Pesur sticks that car where it needs to be. Now starts to find the side, biting, taking chunks out the sides of the S15 as Falvey looks for the transition. Pesur's with him. There's no shaking him as Kevin Pesur goes for it once again. Falvey on that wide line, push it to the wall and across the line.
Oh man, Falvey's the way Falvey gets that car.
They get the green light, and it's going to be Max Heinrich to lead out. Kevin Pesur for a spot in the straight 8 or top 8 away as they fire down. Look at the speed though from Heinrich as he fires that car in. Well, it's a mistake, and it's a mistake from Kevin Pesur. Oh, and he's hit the wall. Yeah, hit the wall and DB'd. And Kevin Pesur going to finish up the run. I don't think we called it on the camera angle. It looked like a wild initiation down into 1. I wonder if he clipped the wall outside zone 2. And yeah, it looks like it's broken. Korpolinski slams that car into gear. He gets the green light, and we are good to go for our second top 8 battle as Korpolinski flicks that car in. Kevin Pesur doesn't initiate straight away, waits for Korpolinski to get it done. Now stands on the throttle as Korpolinski, the surgeon, puts that car where it needs to be. So clinical. Oh, contact! Wow, big contact. And the front bumper wedged underneath the front of Kevin Pesur's car, made him stall up, completely disposed of the headlights in the front bumper as Kevin Pesur now tries to get himself back into the mix. They get it across the line, but we need to see exactly what happened there. And there we go. It's going to be Kevin Pesur to lead out Pavel Korpolinski for a spot in the final 4 awaits for one of these guys. Who's it going to be? Korpolinski fires down. Pesur on a nice lead line as he puts that car where it needs to be. It looks like he came up very shallow on outside zone 2 though. Transitions back through now into 4, and he struggles to get to outside zone 4. Kevin Pesur looks a little shook here as the surgeon goes for the kill across the nut track as he puts the car where it needs to be. Kevin Pesur squeezes the fault, tries to drive away from Korpolinski.
Oh yeah, Kevin Pesur, I mean, he was driving like he was at fault, right?
4th in the championship. He would love nothing more than to be 3rd in the championship. What can he do this weekend? As he comes off the line, BMW M2, M50 Turbo, 1,000 horsepower as Kevin Pesur. Been on the podium before at Drift Masters, would love nothing more than to do it here in Poland as he flicks it across the circuit. It's a nice line from Kevin Pesur. Hasn't seemed to get the job done for most rounds, but now back into the zone, back on form as Kevin Pesur fires into outside zone 5 and in to 6 as he dabs the handbrake, and it works perfectly for him. As Kevin Pesur from Estonia absolutely rocking around outside zone 7 and across the line. Look at that hand up in qualifying. Sorry, Korpolinski drops into double 4th because we're waiting for the score for Kevin Pesur. This is getting crazy here right now in Poland as we see Kevin Pesur fire through that first outside zone, picks up that inside zone, picks up this inside zone, holds off on the transition but makes it work as now Kevin Pesur flicks that car to angle, full throttle in outside zone 4, fires through, looks for outside zone 5. We're waiting for this score to drop in to separate the two identical scores from Pesur and Korpolinski. What can Pesur do? He knows what Korpolinski just done. It's brilliant. Look at that. Hand out the window. Kevin Pesur, a man that wants all the points. He wants to try and jump up into that 3rd position as he jumps onto the back bumper of Jakob Kroll. Kroll fires in. He knows he's got the perfect lead line as he puts that car to angle and spins it on the inside of the circuit. And Jakob Kroll fires the car completely off track.
What happened there? Now,
they're a little
here's the thing, a lot of
confused of what's going on in that first half of the qualifying showdown. Battle, Kevin Pesur through the gears though, flicks that car to angle. Kevin Pesur now looking, thinking maybe if I can win this, I can claw some points. 3rd in the championship awaits for him if he can do anything great this weekend. Fires it into outside zone 4, no messing around. Jakob Kroll with him, stays with him, puts it right onto the door as Jakob Kroll, not scared to put that carbon Kevlar S15 to the door of the BMW. Stalls up on transition, now tucks himself back into formation as Pesur sticks it to that outside zone, looks for the final outside zone, dials on the angle, Pesur dials on the angle, and Kroll hits him, and Kroll is having an absolute nightmare this evening in the showdown. Martin has donned the shirt for the final of the qualifying showdown is underway as Dean fires that Mustang from left to right, and Pesur goes for it, sticks the BMW straight to the door, no messing around, shallows up the angle, takes another bite out of the door of that Mustang. They fire through. How did they squeeze both those cars on that inside zone? They make it into outside zone 4, door to door, as Pesur backs off now, takes another lunge at the side of the Mustang. He fires through the smoke. Dean on an absolute flyer of a lead run out front, tags the wall though. Dean upsets the line. Pesur has to back out of it. They're both a little scrappy, but they get it across the line.
Oh, what a sparring match between these two titans. I mean, James
Pesur
Dean
is fast. He doesn't want to let him get away. They come off the line. Kevin Pesur from Estonia to lead out James Dean from Ireland as Pesur flicks the back end of that BMW towards the Mustang. Dean gets into it now. Dean falls into formation as he goes door to door with Kevin Pesur through the middle of the circuit, through that front clipping zone. They get into it once again in outside zone 4. Pesur shallows up the angle. Look at this. Pesur desperately trying to get away from the Mustang, but he can't, as Kevin Pesur is getting absolutely bullied by James Dean in the Mustang. He swings it wide, and that opens the door even more for James Dean as Dean tags onto the back bumper. Now back onto the front wheel and on the door across the line. So this means more to him. The young Estonian comes off the line, and Kevin Pesur wants to win, wants to get the battle done and claw more points and get himself that third step in the championship as Pesur comes off the wall nice and early, dives across the track and picks up both inside zones. Adam LZ flicks that car into the door of that BMW 2 Series as they both fulfill outside zone 4, but it's shallow and off the wall for Kevin Pesur as he now comes across the circuit for outside zone 5. There's no shaking Adam's LZ as he goes for the front wheel. Both guys wobble as they go for outside zone 6, outside zone 7 for Field, and LZ's on the back bumper.
Yeah, great run from both. To me, it felt like Pesur was
top 16 away. So look at that from Kevin Pesur, jumps off the throttle. He knows he maybe made a mistake in outside zone 1. They fire through. Pesur goes for a straight line initiation and attack on the side of the Americans BMW E36 as they go door to door through that inside zone. And look at this. So Kevin Pesur, he has to almost back out of it. Takes the front bumper to the wall as they get into outside zone 4. Kevin Pesur does not want to back down, but Adam LZ is on an absolute flyer. Nice line into outside zone 5 from Adam LZ as he pulls some ground on Kevin Pesur. They get into outside zone 6. Pesur has to shortcut the circuit. He's shallow once again as LZ sets the tyre on fire across the line.
I think we were all waiting for that tire fire at some point.